For decades, the biggest obstacles to business growth were easy to identify. Sometimes it was a lack of customers, sometimes it was access to capital, other times it was high interest rates, supply chain disruptions, or labor shortages. But today, a completely different bottleneck has emerged. It's one that affects nearly every major industry in America. Technology companies are dealing with it. Manufacturers are dealing with it. Banks, retailers, healthcare providers, logistics companies, and even utilities are dealing with it. And despite billions of dollars being invested to solve the problem, demand continues to grow even faster. The surprising bottleneck? Computing power. It has quietly become one of the most valuable resources in the American economy. And it's changing the way businesses invest, compete, and plan for the future. Here's why. Only a few years ago, most businesses viewed computing as another operating expense. You bought software, stored your files online, managed customer records, processed transactions, and that was enough. Today, computing has become something entirely different. It's the foundation behind artificial intelligence, cloud services, advanced manufacturing, financial modeling, medical research, cybersecurity, logistics, product design, customer support. Nearly every major business function now depends on enormous amounts of computing power. The problem is that demand has exploded faster than the infrastructure supporting it. Think about what happens every time a company launches a new AI-powered product. Millions of people begin using it. Every request requires servers. Every calculation consumes processing power. Every response depends on powerful computer chips working around the clock. Multiply that across thousands of companies and hundreds of millions of users, and it's easy to understand why businesses are investing billions in expanding their digital infrastructure. That's why America's data center boom has accelerated so quickly. Companies like Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Meta, Oracle, and many others aren't simply building bigger facilities because they want to. They're doing it because customers are consuming computing resources at an unprecedented rate. And businesses across every industry want access to that capacity. But building data centers isn't like opening a retail store. These facilities require years of planning, large amounts of land, specialized construction, advanced networking equipment, powerful semiconductor chips, reliable electricity, sophisticated cooling systems, highly skilled engineers. Every piece of the puzzle has to come together. That's where the bottleneck begins. Electricity is one of the biggest constraints. Modern AI data centers consume enormous amounts of power. Some require electricity comparable to that used by entire towns. Utilities are racing to expand generating capacity and transmission networks. But expanding the electrical grid takes time. Permits, construction, environmental reviews, new substations, transmission lines. None of it happens overnight. As a result, some companies are finding that securing enough electricity has become just as challenging as securing land for new facilities. Semiconductors create another bottleneck. Advanced processors remain among the most complex products ever manufactured. Building leading-edge chips requires extraordinary precision, specialized equipment, and years of investment. Even with new semiconductor factories under construction, demand continues growing rapidly. Businesses need processors for AI systems, cloud infrastructure, networking equipment, autonomous technologies, and countless other applications. The faster computing demand grows, the harder it becomes for supply to keep pace. Then there's skilled labor. Constructing and operating modern digital infrastructure requires electricians, mechanical engineers, software developers, cybersecurity professionals, network architects, data center operators, and construction specialists. Many companies are competing for the same limited pool of experienced workers. That competition increases costs and slows project timelines. It's another reminder that business transformation isn't driven by technology alone. People remain just as important. Cooling has become an unexpected challenge too. Advanced computer chips generate tremendous amounts of heat. Traditional air cooling often isn't enough for today's high-performance AI systems. That's leading companies to invest heavily in liquid cooling and entirely new approaches to thermal management. Businesses specializing in cooling technology have suddenly become critical players in one of America's fastest-growing industries. Perhaps the most interesting part of this story is that the bottleneck extends far beyond technology companies. Banks need more computing capacity to improve fraud detection and financial analysis. Healthcare providers rely on powerful systems for medical imaging and research. Manufacturers use advanced computing to optimize production lines. Retailers analyze massive amounts of customer data. Transportation companies improve delivery routes using increasingly sophisticated algorithms. Artificial intelligence is expanding across nearly every sector of the economy. That means demand for computing isn't concentrated in one industry. It's becoming universal. History offers an interesting comparison. During the Industrial Revolution, railroads became one of the biggest bottlenecks to economic growth. Businesses could manufacture products faster than they could transport them. Later, highways transformed commerce. Then broadband internet became essential for the digital economy. Today, computing infrastructure appears to be following a similar path. It's becoming foundational infrastructure. The companies with greater access to computing resources can often innovate faster, launch products sooner, and improve operations more efficiently. Those without enough capacity may struggle to keep pace. Wall Street has recognized this shift. Investors aren't just watching software companies anymore. They're paying close attention to utilities, construction firms, power equipment manufacturers, semiconductor companies, networking businesses, data center developers, and energy providers. Why? Because they all benefit from the same long-term trend: America's growing demand for computing power. Of course, businesses aren't standing still. Billions of dollars are flowing into new facilities, energy projects, semiconductor manufacturing, and digital infrastructure. Over time, many of today's bottlenecks will likely improve. But history suggests solving one bottleneck often creates another. As computing capacity expands, demand usually grows even faster. New applications emerge. Businesses discover additional uses for AI. Consumers expect more sophisticated digital experiences. The cycle continues. That's why many executives no longer view computing as just another business expense. They see it as strategic infrastructure, something as essential to modern business as electricity, transportation, or communications. And perhaps that's the biggest lesson of all. The new bottleneck slowing down American business isn't a shortage of ideas. It isn't a lack of investment. And it isn't weak demand. It's the race to build enough digital infrastructure to support an economy that's becoming more connected, more intelligent, and more computationally intensive every single day. The companies that help solve that bottleneck may not just build successful businesses. They may help shape the next era of American economic growth.